You know, they didn't take it all at once. They didn't. That's just the first lie we tell ourselves. We imagine tyranny arrives with jackboots and midnight knocks. We picture the dramatic moment when freedom dies in public. But that's not exactly how a free people lose their liberty. That is how they realize it's already lost. America is not being conquered. America is being managed. Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Samuel Show. For most of human history, the individual was nothing. You belong to the tribe, the king, the church, the party, the collective. Your life, your labor, your children, your words, all of it existed at the pleasure of someone more powerful than you were. Then, for a brief and almost miraculous window, a group of imperfect men in powdered wigs decided that was no longer acceptable. They declared that the rights do not flow downward from the state. They rise upward from the individual. And they wrote it down so clearly that even a bureaucrat would have trouble misunderstanding it. We are now living through the quiet undoing of that decision. It did not begin with one election or one court ruling. It began the moment we accepted that freedom was negotiable, that speech could be harmful, that property could be unfair, that parents could be problematic, that self-defense could be dangerous, that the Constitution was not a fixed limit on power, but a suggestion that would be reinterpreted whenever power found it inconvenient. And power always finds it inconvenient. Look at the architecture of modern control. It is not dramatic, it's administrative. It is soft, it's polite. It arrives wearing the language of safety, equity, and expertise. It does not ban speech outright. It simply makes certain speech professionally, socially, and financially radioactive. It doesn't seize your property with soldiers. It regulates its use until ownership becomes a technicality. It does not confiscate your children. It inserts itself between you and them, then pretends the intervention is compassion. This is how free societies die in the 21st century. Not with a bang, but with a compliance. We have reached a point where a citizen can be investigated for wrongthink, deplatformed for pattern recognition, and financially punished for refusing to recite the current catechism. We have reached a point where the right to keep and bear arms, the right their founders placed second for a reason, is treated as a cultural embarrassment rather than a structural safeguard. We have reached a point where the family, the most basic unit of human freedom, is treated as a potential threat that requires state supervision. And the most dangerous part is not that these things are happening. The most dangerous part is how many people have been trained to call it progress. There's a particular kind of quiet that settles over a free people when they begin to accept management as normal. You see it in the way people lower their voices before saying something true. You see it in the way parents second guess themselves before teaching their own children. You see it in the way ordinary men and women start asking permission for things that used to be assumed. That quiet is the sound of liberty leaving the room. I will not pretend this is new. The impulse to control is older than the Republic. What is new is the sophistication. What is new is the willingness of so many institutions, media, academia, corporations, even parts of the church, to treat the individual as a problem to be solved rather than a soul to be respected. What is new is the speed with which dissent is pathologized. The American experiment was never guaranteed. It was always a wager that free men and women, left largely alone, would build something better than any central planner could ever possibly design. That wager is now being actively reversed. The new orthodoxy says the individual is the risk and the system is the solution. That freedom produces inequality, and inequality is the greatest injustice. That rights must be balanced against feelings, outcomes, and the latest moral panic. I reject that orthodoxy completely. Individual liberty is not a luxury for the comfortable. It is the precondition for everything else worth having. Without it, prosperity becomes permission. Without it, justice becomes preference. Without it, the Constitution becomes a museum piece that we visit on holidays while living under a different set of rules the rest of the year. We are told that resisting this erosion is extreme. That wanting to speak freely, raise your children, keep what you earn, and defend your home is somehow radical. That is the tell. When the defense of basic liberty is treated as radical, the center has moved. History is not subtle about what comes next. Societies that trade ordered liberty for managed equality do not stay equal for long. They simply rearrange who holds the leash. The vocabulary changes. The methods become more refined. The underlying transaction remains the same. Your freedom in exchange for their control. I did not start this show to manage decline. I started it because I believed that the American people have not fully consented to becoming subjects. I still believe there is a stubborn core of this country that understands what is being lost and is not ready to clap while it disappears. But belief is not enough. Clarity is required. Courage is required, and the refusal to pretend that managed life is the same thing as free life is required. Tonight, we're going to examine the machinery. We're going to name the mechanisms. We're going to talk about what has already begun and has been conceded, what is still being contested, and what free people still have the power to reclaim if they decide that the quiet life of compliance is not worth the cost. The hour is late. The window is still open, but it will not stay open forever. This is Ryan Samuels. Do not go anywhere. We have a very, very good show for you this evening. Do not forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Do not forget you can call into the show 561-786-2916. We will be right back. America, welcome back. We're here. We're live. Going to be a good show. I hope everybody had an awesome and amazing weekend. I know that I did. I had a great time. I did absolutely nothing, and it was everything I hoped it would be. How about you? What did you do? Put it in the comments. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We're going to cover something that happened that, surprise, surprise, I don't necessarily oppose, but I don't support it either. And that's a fundamental distinction that we have to talk about. A Jewish woman, I guess an Israeli citizen, Jewish woman, maybe an Israeli citizen, I don't know, scheduled an appointment to get her hair done. She gets there and she's talking to the lady about doing her hair and getting her hair done. And the lady says, "Oh, you're a Jew. Oh, yeah, get out. You're not welcome here." The lady turns around and says, "Wow, that's really, I don't like that. That's not good. That's fine. Just give me my deposit back and I will leave here with no problem." And the response of the woman is, "No, you signed an agreement for a deposit. I'm kicking you out because of your religion/ethnicity. There's nothing you can do about it." Here is the full clip, no edits. This idiot decided to record the whole scenario. Just let's watch this and let's break it down.
What does that mean?
That means that you signed a photo video release form.
Okay, I didn't do anything wrong.
No, there's nothing wrong. I kindly asked you to. You just kept saying Israel. You're talking about politics.
No, not at all. I thought we were having a great conversation about Afghanistan, like a culture that I actually
it's
admire.
Beautiful. Thank you, and I love that. I kept saying that it's wonderful, and I love what you're doing and everything. But I don't. When you keep saying,
you should give me my deposit back. I had no idea that you would.
When
do
you
this
keep
based on my
saying
ethnicity.
things like I'm Israeli American, and then I say things like, "Oh, I just don't really support or believe in Israel."
But you were doing this based
and then
on
you're
my ethnicity.
defending it, which is totally fine. You can defend it as much as you want, but this is my business. This is my.
That's fine. That's totally
and
fine.
I'm not
but you
it.
should. But you should give me my deposit back. And if you don't, I'm gonna have to take legal action. And
So, woman goes there to get a haircut, leaves a deposit. Well, she had to do it. I guess she had to do a deposit to get in. Here's the thing. I think any private business, regardless of any reason that they have, can kick anybody out for any reason that they want to. And this has been a position of the right for years. Back, oh man, it was a long time ago now, probably over a decade ago, There was a couple that owned a bakery, and a gay couple went to them and said, hey, we want you to bake us a cake for our wedding. And they said, no, we don't do that. We don't bake cakes for gay couples. That goes against our religion. We're not going to support or help you sin because that's our feelings about it. They're practicing their religion. The left went wild. The left went wild. They filed a federal lawsuit. These people were essentially forced to bake the cake. And then I believe that they went out of business shortly after that because of the public outcry or whatever. You have the right to refuse to bake a cake just as much as you have the right to refuse anybody from your business. Your business is the equivalent of your home. You own your home, you lease your home. If somebody, you don't want anybody for any reason you see fit, you tell them to kick rocks, get out, pound sand. I don't want you here. You should absolutely have the right to do that. That's number one, okay? This woman goes a step beyond that. The lady had a deposit for the appointment. She shows up. The lady finds out she's a Jew. And she supports Israel. Oh, I'm not going to support genocide. We're not supporting genocide here. It's something we're not going to do. I'm a leftist and I'm an activist, and we're going to force you out of our shop. That's precisely what happened. However, it's okay for the left to do it to a Jew, but it's not okay for the right to do it to a gay couple. And herein lies the problem, the major problem that is all over the left. Do as I say, not as I do. Do as you're told. Probably one of the most American things you can do is kick somebody out of your home or your business just because you feel like it. That's how much freedom you should have. That's how much freedom you should have. So in other news, we're going to follow that story and see exactly where that goes. That lady should sue that place, not because she kicked them out for being Israeli, but because they kept her money for the privilege. I mean, that's freaking outrageous, is what it is. I mean, I don't agree with what the lady did. Number one, if you're going to do that, then you're going to just look like an idiot. I mean, the whole world knows you're an idiot. And they're going to completely ruin your business because now you're this national news story for being an anti-Semitic hair salon owner, which is wild to me. But the right will want to come out and pass anti-Semitic laws and restrict your freedom to throw anybody out of your business for any reason. Specifically, political reasons, political protesting reasons. The government should not be stopping you. That's a violation of your First Amendment privilege. But James O'Keefe went to Minnesota, and surprise, surprise, it turns out in Minnesota, what you can do is you can just go vote and vouch for people so that they can vote. Crazy. Here, watch this.
Vouching for 7 other Muslims at a Minneapolis polling booth.
We're going in to this location, and I'm going to say that I'm vouching for them. The name is William Lawrence. The question about the vouching program, yeah? Vouching? I can vouch for them, but they are not registered. That's okay, that's fine. Can I bring 5 more from up to 8 people? Okay, that's a good thing.
You can bring up to 8 people with you who are not registered to vote and vouch for them. So that they can vote. if without ID, without anything. What?
We go back and we get Krishna and Ernesto and Mohammed. In Minnesota, you can show up on election day and vouch for up to 8 unregistered voters. Members of the Justice League dress up in traditional Muslim attire, including a transgender wearing a burqa, and put this vouching law to an extreme test on primary day, August 11th.
Gonna be a baller, shot caller, 20-inch blade.
I gotta mute that if I didn't get flagged on YouTube already. YouTube is such a pain in the neck.
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, if you're all in the same precinct
Yes.
and you are already registered, which it looks like you are, then you can vouch for them as ID for them.
Oh, good. She says to me, I say they do not need ID. She says, you are the ID.
He is the ID.
I am the ID. And no ID needed. I just vouch for them.
Well,
It's
you're
good.
the ID.
I am the ID. It's good. How many people may I vouch for?
What is it? It's
8?
I thought it was 6.
I can vouch for 8 people. 8 people, no ID. We come right back. Thank you. Most poll workers we visited were willing to let us vouch with no questions asked, even when presented with the most absurd situation imaginable. While other poll workers did take issue with our investigation, revealing their awareness that something about this vouching system is deeply flawed or wrong. Yet for some reason, they don't want us to expose it.
I can't have her see me.
Get down.
Whatever, I got flagged already.
In Minnesota, voters can vouch for up to 8 of their unregistered friends. At the polling place, a registered voter from the same precinct signs an oath confirming that they personally know the voter lives there. This allows someone without ID to register and vote. And employees of residential facilities may vouch for an unlimited number of facility residents to vote at the facility's address. That's right, an unlimited number. While proponents emphasize that the policy expands ballot access for recent movers and senior citizens, critics view it as a potential for fraud. For example,
Duh. You can essentially take the same 8 people to vouch for them that they live there, and then they would vote at, I don't know, 30 different things over the course of however. And how many mail-in? Are they doing mail-in ballots too? This is ridiculous. These are the things that are going on in the United States of America, that have been going on in the United States of America. And there's absolutely zero reason that you shouldn't be able to prove who you are before you cast a ballot.
if a voucher were to lie on this contract and allow 8 of his ineligible friends to vote, and the results of that election are announced on the same day, what happens when the oath is further investigated and it is discovered that those vouched for votes shouldn't have been counted? The results of the election will have already been announced and enacted by that point. This document shows that the election workers simply circle a number of the vouchees. There's no other identifying information. And Scott Pressler from the organization Early Vote Action says there is no list of these vouchee voters anywhere. When he requested them from areas like Duluth, St. Paul, Minneapolis, and St. Cloud, Minnesota, Pressler says they are nameless, faceless, and recordless. So he dressed in full traditional Muslim attire and went in to ask if we can vouch for 8 of our unregistered friends, just to test the limits of this law and the willingness of election judges to go along with it. Only Muslim women traditionally wear the full face covering. So Cam Higbee was in disguise as my transgender Muslim wife.
So he's wearing niqab, so basically he's not supposed to shake hands with a man. So what he does is once a man tries to shake hands, he has to do it.
Yeah, you stick it in the, with like say these are ribs right here.
Oh yeah, I don't
Each rib has ribbon.
That's them practicing before they go out.
Am I the voucher?
You're the voucher. We're the vouchees.
So I'm William Pomerantz. I am William Pomerantz. This is my.
That's great.
I vouch for people.
Yes, great.
I vouch for people.
For
the vouching system. I have 8 people come from my apartment. This is going to be ridiculous.
It's going to be great.
We're going in to this location, and I'm going to say that I'm vouching for them. The name.
Keep in mind, this is not one location they're going to. They're going to multiple locations in the same day or over the course of the same election cycle. And he's just saying, yeah, these are my friends. They live here. They're not registered to vote, but we're going to go ahead and get them to vote.
My name is William Pomerantz. I'm voting. I'm talking about the vouching program. Yeah? Okay, here we go.
Look at you checked in right there.
Hello, this is the vote. The name is William.
The last name?
Pomerantz.
And does that look correct?
That is the date of birth. The question about the about the vouching program. Yeah. Okay. If I vouch for them,
Yes.
I can vouch for them.
Are you registered today?
This name is I registered, but they are not registered. That's okay. That's fine.
They're not even registered to vote. They're not registered to vote. A registered voter is just saying I vouch for 8 people. So if you had 10 people bring 8 people with them to the polls, you would get 80 extra votes times 100 times 1,000 times 5,000 people in Minnesota bringing 8 friends, 10,000 people in Minnesota bringing 8 friends. 50,000 people in Minnesota bringing 8 friends who are from California, or they're political activists from New York City or Columbia University, or political activists from Michigan, can come in, vouch, and just vote. No ID, no registration, no nothing.
Can I bring 5 more from
Up to 8.
up to 8 people? So I go get the rest of them and come and they can vote today.
Yeah.
I can just vouch for them that they are registered. Yes.
Yeah. So
Okay, that's a good thing. We go back and we get Krishna and Ernesto and Mohammed, and we bring them here. We go get the other people and we come back.
Since you're already registered, you can vouch for up to 8 people.
I did not know this. I thought they can only vote 1 at a time. Yeah.
Well, you each only get 1 vote, but you can vouch for up to 8.
That is great. I'll go do that. We go pick up the rest of the people. We come, and then all 8, I'll vouch for them.
No.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll see you. Thank you. We go get Mohammed. We come back. Success. We go in. I say, the name is William Pomerantz, and they tell me that I can vouch for up to 8 people. I say, we go back. We get Ramesh. We get Mohammed. We get Rishnu. We come back. We vote. They say, no problem. We can vouch for up to 8 people. And we're going to go get the voters and come back, and then we shall vote. No ID needed. They're not registered. No problem, they say. I said, not registered. They said, no problem. You can vote if you're not registered. So that worked. Let's try it again.
That's
The paper here, additional ways to register. Vouching by registered voter who can confirm your address. A voter can vouch for you. The voucher must live in your precinct, personally know you. I can vouch for up to 8 people, no problem. We're gonna go in, we're gonna ask, can we vouch for 8 people without identification?
Home of the camels. I am at home with the camels. Home camel. Hello, good day to you.
Good to you.
The last name is Shimizup. They're with me.
They're not voting?
They with the vouching.
They're vouching for.
I vouch for them.
Oh, great.
Is that okay?
Yes.
She's definitely like, I don't like this. She does not like this.
How does that work?
Well, if you're all in the same precinct,
Yes.
and you are already registered, which it looks like you are, then you can vouch for them as ID for them.
Oh, good. If they do not have their ID, is that okay? I vouch for them. How many people may I vouch for?
What is it? It's
8?
I thought it was 6. 8.
I can vouch for 8 people. Oh, good. We can go pick up Mohammed and Ranuzu in the car outside. Good. The question about the vouching again. I can vouch for 8 people.
Yeah. In your precinct.
In my, that they live.
Yeah.
Yes, in my precinct. That is so wonderful.
Yes.
That is such a good American tradition. She says to me, I say they do not need ID. She says, you are the ID.
He is the ID.
See, I am the ID. And no ID needed. I just vouch for them.
Crazy things. That is insane. That is insane. So when your friends and your relatives who want to say there's no reason for voter ID because you already need an ID to vote, show them that video. Show them that insane clip that you can just bring 8 random dudes with you to vote, and all I have to say is, oh yeah, they live with me. They live near me. They're part of my clan. They're part of my clique. ICE has rolled out shock gloves. Shock gloves. So ICE is rolling out an additional non-lethal resolution, and the left is going bananas over it. So these are essentially gloves that are like tasers. When you grab somebody, they electrocute them, and it's called pain compliance. Here's a demonstration.
Oh! I scream like a little girl and pee myself. Go back with the glove.
Awesome. So this is a non-lethal option, which will make them less likely to shoot somebody. That's the whole point of non or less than, they don't call them non-lethal, it's less than lethal. A less than lethal resolution to shooting somebody.
Something else
I would rather have ICE agents with a tool to get people into custody rather than just shooting them. It's a good thing. Here's Tom Homan on the controversy.
Something else I like to bring your attention to or talk about. DHS plans to spend $20 million on electric shock gloves to aid federal agents. How would that work, and what role would they play?
Well, look, it's another device to, to help someone be compliant when they're not. You just can't go from 0 to 100, right? And first thing you go for is lethal force. So, we have OC spray. We have tasers. So the glove is, the latest thing they're looking at to help in situations. You've seen the videos in the past year and a half, the fights on the street where officers are overwhelmed. This would be a tool they can use to make someone compliant. Now, there's a lot of training involved. There's still some, background, issues that need to be dealt with. So the implementation of these gloves out in the field are going to be a while. I think they serve a better purpose in detention facility, that where detainees get out of control and there's fights in the facility. So we'll see. The training protocol is being written and being reviewed. Then we'll see when they get rolled out. But it's just another tool in the tool belt of ICE officers who are under a 9,000% increase in death threats. An actual 1,400% increase in actual threats. So it's just another tool to help, those who don't want to be compliant, those who attack law enforcement officers, to bring them into compliance without using deadly force.
Yeah, non-lethal.
Unbelievable. Here is Governor Andy Beshear of Kentucky talking about ICE.
Shock gloves, I haven't seen them. My concern isn't that they exist or that there's a contract for them. It's that they are going to the worst trained, most aggressive law enforcement unit I have ever seen. Every ICE agent needs to be withdrawn, retrained, and actually taught what the law does and does not allow. ICE agents have been taught that you can go into somebody's home without a judicial warrant. That's wrong. They are taught aggressive tactics that have led to a body count across America. This should be concerning for every single America.
That they're using non-lethal gloves?
American. And the idea that the previous party of Don't Tread on Me is now trying to give even more weaponry to a group that has proven they will tread all over you is a big concern.
weaponry. It's not weaponry. It's something that's just
something else I like to
easier and less than. It's another less than lethal option. Man,
That means that you signed a photo video.
Democrats drive me insane. 100% they drive me insane. I think there are too many federal agencies. I do. I don't think ICE is the biggest threat to American civil and individual liberties. I do not. I think that the ATF and the FBI have significantly higher threats to American individual liberty. Look at the body count at Waco or Ruby Ridge, where the ATF and FBI are equally responsible for that. There's just too many there's way too many federal agents. You don't need all of that crap. You don't, alcohol, tobacco, firearms. What, 3 things that are illegal? 3 things that are legal? It should be the name of a store in every city across America. The ATF. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Get your booze, cigarettes, and guns all in one place. That might be the whole show tonight. I've been looking all weekend for big stories, and honestly, there just aren't any. There's not a big news cycle right now. And I mean, that's a good thing. I don't like when there's a lot of chaos, corruption, and death in the media and war. Sure, it gives me a lot of stuff to talk about, but when there's not a whole bunch going on, there's not ICE shootings, there's not Trump assassination attempts, there's not massive things happening, the United States is a more peaceful place. We covered the Candace Owens, Andrew Wilson thing on Friday. She's a master manipulator. She's out there twisting it like she won this debate. I don't think it was a debate. They were just kind of talking. I wouldn't say that she won at all. I would say she actually proved what she is, and that is a fraud with zero evidence. And I know people disagree with that, and they're always going to disagree with that. Those are just those types of people. But thank you for tuning in. We're going to cut it short. We will be back tomorrow night. We are live Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do not forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and we will see you tomorrow night.